Hello, beautiful mama. Welcome to Navigating Motherhood with Confidence. I'm Dr. Sarah Hardy, naturopathic doctor, mother, and creator of VitalityNaturalHealth.ca. This program supports informed, intuitive mothering by providing reliable information on a variety of family health topics and featuring moms who are nourishing the connection with their inner wisdom and integrating it into real life every day. In episode 8, we're exploring EFT Tapping as a healing tool for releasing negative thoughts and emotions to support better health and well-being. Hello, beautiful mama, and welcome to episode 8 of the Navigating Motherhood with Confidence video series. Today, I'm excited to explore with you a wonderful healing tool that I've been using more often over the past year, both in my own life and with clients, to support the clearing or releasing of negative emotions and thoughts and beliefs. And introducing more positive ones. And that overall process really helps to support our overall health and well-being. And the healing tool that we're going to be chatting about today is called tapping. You may have also heard of it called the Emotional Freedom Technique, or EFT. And just before we get into the details and the process of tapping, I wanted to chat a little bit about why it's important for us as a tool on our mothering journey. And so mind-body medicine and the research in mind-body medicine has shown us that our thoughts, our beliefs, and our emotions influence our overall health and well-being, really from the physical health and well-being of our bodies all the way through our mental, emotional health and our spiritual health as well. And so on this twisting and turning mothering journey, the ups and downs that we experience along the way, having a tool to use to support us in clearing or releasing the negative thoughts and emotions that can potentially negatively influence our health and well-being is so wonderful to have. And so when we're looking at our mothering journey, particularly the early mothering journey, what might be coming up? What I tend to see when I'm working with pregnant women is that there are often fears and worries and stresses that come up throughout pregnancy, wondering if the baby's healthy, if he or she is developing well, and how the pregnancy outcome will be, how will labor and birth unfold. It's such an unknown process, and so with unknown processes, as we're stepping into them, they bring up those challenging emotions like fear. And also throughout pregnancy, just the day-to-day stresses of getting ready for a new addition to the family and balancing that with all of our other commitments, both through our work and through our personal lives. In those early weeks and months, we often are experiencing different types of worry and stress and overwhelm. For some women, the emotions that are coming into play are more along the lines of depression or anxiety, and we compound all of those challenging emotions with a lack of sleep and exhaustion. And so we start asking ourselves things like, am I doing this right? Is it supposed to be this exhausting? And is my baby healthy? Is this a normal thing that he or she is doing or experiencing? And then as we journey into the toddler and preschool years, they bring up different emotions in us as well. The stress and the overwhelm can come up again for different reasons. But I hear a lot of moms talking about frustration or anger or those other types of emotional challenges, particularly when our little people are really starting to learn about emotions themselves and what those big sensations are that are coming up in their bodies and how do they deal with them and that sort of thing. They're constantly pushing setting boundaries and pressing our buttons and those sorts of things. And it's a natural part of their development, but it can really bring up a lot of different types of emotions in us. And we start asking ourselves questions like, why does he disagree with every single thing I say? Or can we even get through one day without a complete meltdown? And so when it comes to having a tool that we can use either in those moments throughout our mothering journey of feeling stressed, feeling anxious, feeling worried, feeling frustrated, or if we're noticing a trend that we're feeling more frustrated day by day, or we're feeling more stressed day by day, and we want to work on something that's a more long-term experience, whether it's sort of acutely in that moment or whether it's something that we're working away at day by day. What type of tool can we use to help to take those emotions from here down to a much more comfortable place? And tapping can be a really, really fantastic tool for that. So tapping, or EFT, as I mentioned, there's some great resources out there on the internet, and I'll make sure that I have linked to some of them below this video. One I often rely on, and there's a lot of detailed information on this particular website, is www.emofree.com. And so, any information that you're looking for on tapping, that's a really great detailed resource. And it tells us that tapping is an effective and efficient approach that blends the use of the acupuncture meridian system with the concepts of mind-body medicine. And so what we're working with is a process where a distressing thought or memory creates a disruption in our body's energy system in those meridians, and that creates a negative emotion. And so we've got distressing thought or memory leading to a disruption in the body's energy system, creating a negative emotion. And so what tapping does is it helps to rebalance that disruption in the body's energy system so that we can decrease the negative emotional charge that's related to a distressing thought or memory. And when it comes to the benefits of tapping, they have been seen clinically for years and years and years, but they've also been reflected in some of the research that's been done. And so there's a great review of the research that I'll make sure that I link below this video. And it talks about EFT tapping being successfully used in clinical settings to reduce negative experiences of PTSD, of intense phobias, anxiety, depression. It's helped to support folks through their weight reduction journey and controlling their weight once they've reached their goals. It's helped folks reduce physical pain and the symptoms of physical illness, and also to improve athletic performance. So it's got a pretty widespread ripple effect of benefits, and lots of different types of benefits that have been studied in the research. And when it comes to our mothering journeys, where I'm seeing it quite effectively and quite often is in helping women to reduce their experiences of things like stress and overwhelm and worry and any or frustrations that come up along the way. And so when it comes to the basic tapping process, there are 5 steps. The first step is to identify the emotion that you're tapping, that you want to tap on or that you want to release. So easy to do if we can find that moment of pause in that acute situation. Or if you set aside some time in your day, even a few minutes, to reflect on your day or your week, and you want to do some tapping related to some of those emotions that had come up through the week, that's a possibility as well. But where you're going to notice the most effect, it probably is in those acute situations where we're looking to bring the intensity of an emotion from its height down to a much more comfortable level. And so that moves us on to step 2. Once we've identified the emotion that we're wanting to release or to reduce, we are identifying the intensity with which it's affecting us in that moment. So rating it on a scale of 0 to 10. 0, it's not affecting me at all. 10, it's affecting me so much I can barely function. The next step, the third step, is the setup process, which we'll get into more detail in just a moment. Then we do a few rounds of tapping for step 4. And then step 5 is checking in again with that intensity. Has the intensity gone maybe from an 8 to a 6, or maybe it's gone from a 9 to a 3, wherever, whatever those numbers are, we want to check in and make sure it's heading down towards the 0 to 2 intensity. That's really the sweet spot that we're looking to get to. So for that third step, the setup part of the sequence, it involves tapping the point on the body called the karate chop point. So the spot where we would think of our hand hitting something in a karate chop, it's about halfway between the wrist and the base of your baby finger. So right in the middle there, and tapping on that karate chop point, we are going to make a statement 3 times. We are going to say something along the lines of, even though I have this, fill in the blank, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I have this, fill in the blank, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this, fill in the blank, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So if, for example, we're looking at that common these days experience of overwhelm on our mothering journey, if you're wanting to tap out or release some of that overwhelm, I encourage you to label it as overwhelm, but also reflect on what that overwhelm feels like to you. What sorts of sensations are coming up? Does it feel like a heaviness? Does it feel like an exhaustion? Are you getting a knot in your chest? Are you feeling it in your belly? Any of the physical sensations that are connected to those emotions, they can really sort of anchor us down into that experience and really help that releasing process through using the tapping. So let's fill in the blank with overwhelm. It would go something like this. Even though I have this overwhelm, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I have this overwhelm, I deeply and completely. That's the setup. The next step, step 4, is tapping through the points. And there is a picture, or an image, I should say, just below the video that shows you where each of the tapping points are. But let's go through them together, and then we'll do an example of what a tapping sequence would look like. So after we've done the setup with the karate chop point, we move on to the eyebrow point, right on the inner part of the eyebrow, and you can tap on one side or on the other side or both at the same time. Okay, so eyebrow, side of the eye, that bone that is between your temple and your eye itself, under the eye, the bone that's just under the eye, under the nose, the chin, the collarbone, which is just under the collarbone right next to your sternum or your breastbone. It's often a bit of a tender point for folks. Under the arm, and this point, you can't see where I'm tapping, but this point is under your underarm, right around where your bra strap usually passes by, and then top of the head. Okay, so eyebrow, side of the eye, under the nose, chin, collarbone, under the arm, and the top of the head. Okay? And tapping at its most basic asks us to do the setup with that longer statement and then very simply shorten the statement. So when we were setting up with the, even though I have this overwhelm, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, we could move on to something as simple as recognizing that overwhelm and tapping it. This overwhelm, this overwhelm, this overwhelm, this overwhelm, continuing through each of the points, recognizing and bringing to our attention so that it can clear this overwhelm. What you can also do is deepen and intensify the process by getting a little bit more into detail about how that overwhelm is affecting you in the moment. So it might go something along these lines. This overwhelm, it's just so much to take. It feels so stressful. I feel a tightness in my chest and a gnawing in my belly. It just feels really rotten. This overwhelm. I didn't know I'd feel this way as a mom. There are so many things to think about. There are so many things to do. My to-do list just never goes away, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. I feel the overwhelm in my chest. It's a tightness. It makes it hard to take a deep breath. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I don't feel like a nice person. I snap at my kids more easily. I snap at my partner more easily. And I end up finishing my day feeling rotten. This overwhelm. This overwhelm. It's getting too much to take. But even though I have this overwhelm, I fully and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling this overwhelm, I love myself. I accept myself. I'm ready to let go of this overwhelm. This overwhelm. This overwhelm. I'm ready to let it go. This overwhelm. Okay? And so after a few rounds of tapping through what those sensations, what those experiences of overwhelm bring up for you, then check in. That's step 5 in that process. Check in and see where that intensity is. And we're going to continue working through those rounds of tapping until the intensity is brought down to somewhere between a 0 and a 2. And for some moments, it's going to be a quick process. It's going to be a few rounds of tapping, and we've diffused that emotion enough that we can clearly and comfortably move on with our day. Sometimes it takes a few more rounds or a few more rounds after that. Sometimes we can bring it down to a 5 and then know that we need to come back to it and keep working away at bringing it down further. So it all depends on what's coming up for you and what the intensity of that experience is for you. Another resource that you can explore, particularly as it relates to tapping meditations, is the tappingsolution.com/blog. So there on their blog at the tappingsolution.com, they have a number of recorded guided meditations. And what I really like about these guided meditations is that they guide you through a process of tapping out or releasing the negative thoughts and emotions. and then tapping in or bringing in some positive thoughts and affirmations. So it creates a lovely shift through that process. So those guided meditations can be particularly helpful as you learn the process. But the more specific and individualized you can get in your tapping process, so if you can take it beyond those guided meditations a little bit, more digging into your own situation and the emotions and the experiences that are coming up for you, the more powerful the effects of the tapping will be. And so to help you with that process of making it more personal and making it more individualized and supporting your healing process, I've created a sample tapping meditation script, which I'll also link below the video. And basically it just gives you some basic language to work with and to fill in the blanks with how you're feeling, with how that emotion is influencing your day-to-day life, how it's holding you back or how it's creating obstacles, whatever it happens to be. So it takes you through a process of tapping through a few rounds. So you can print it off and fill in the blanks based on how you're feeling and the entire experience that comes up for you. And then you have something to guide you through a more personalized meditation process. And then once you get used to using those tools, the guided meditation and the sort of the fill in the blank meditation script, then you'll be able to just go with the flow and use the tapping on your own whenever you need it without some of those tools. So that's what I have to offer to you today. I hope that this video and the information contained in it has been helpful and supportive to your journey, and that the resources that you'll find along with this video are also helpful as you continue your journey of informed, intuitive mothering. Until next time, take good care. Bye-bye now. Thank you for joining us today, beautiful mama. For additional resources to nourish the connection with your inner wisdom, visit vitalitynaturalhealth.ca and sign up for the Navigating Motherhood with Confidence free 21-day program. It guides you through a variety of practices and the ways you can integrate them into your life every day. With love, until next time.